It was a Tuesday, just another Tuesday, or so we thought. The tech world was humming along, digesting the latest smartphone rumors and software updates. Then the notification dropped. A simple blog post, a short demo video. It was VO3, and in an instant the timeline exploded. What we saw wasn't just an upgrade, it was a fundamental shift. The video showed a photorealistic golden retriever not just running but chasing a frisbee on a beach during a perfect sunset. The key detail? The dog's fur was matted with wet sand and you could see individual water droplets flying off as it moved. That level of detail, that understanding of physics and light, it was something we expected in 5 years, not right now. Suddenly every tech YouTuber, every digital artist, every filmmaker was talking about it. The initial reaction was disbelief, quickly followed by a frantic downloading of the demo files to pixel peep and analyze was this real? Was it touched up? The metadata confirmed that this was raw output from an AI model. It understood complex prompts like cinematic shot, anamorphic lens, golden hour, but it also understood unwritten rules. The subtle emotional weight of a scene, the way light should wrap around a subject. This wasn't just generating a video, it was interpreting an artistic vision. For creators, it was both terrifying and exhilarating. The game had just changed and nobody saw it coming this fast. The ripple effect was immediate. Stock footage sites felt a tremor of obsolescence. Animators wondered if their painstaking frame-by-frame work would soon be a niche craft. But mostly there was excitement. Imagine being an indie filmmaker with a grand vision but a tiny budget. Suddenly, a tool existed that could create that epic establishing shot of an alien planet or a historically accurate Roman legion marching through a forest, all from a text prompt. The barrier to entry for high-quality visual storytelling was being dismantled, pixel by pixel, right before our eyes. The conversation shifted from can AI make video to what stories will we tell now that anything is possible. The surprise of VO3 wasn't just about better resolution or smoother frame rates, it was about the AI's grasp of nuance. In one demo, a prompt for a tired detective looking out a rainy window didn't just generate the scene, it added a subtle reflection of the room's flickering neon sign on the detective's face. It added condensation trails on the glass. These were details a human artist would add to convey a mood, a story. The AI had learned the language of cinematography. It wasn't just a content creation tool anymore. It was becoming a creative partner, and we were all just getting our first look at its incredible potential. To truly appreciate the shock of VO3, you have to remember where we were just a year earlier with VO2. It was revolutionary for its time, don't get me wrong. VO2 was the tool that took AI video from a weird, glitchy novelty into something genuinely useful. It could consistently generate 10 to 15 second clips in 1080p that looked pretty good, as long as you didn't look too closely. It was fantastic for creating simple, dynamic B-roll for social media. A food blogger could type sizzling bacon in a cast iron pan top-down shot and get a usable clip for the recipe video. It was a massive time saver and a creative unlock for millions. The limitations, however, were clear. VO2 struggled with consistency, a problem we all knew well. A character might start a scene wearing a blue shirt and end it wearing a red one, hence were a notorious problem, often appearing with 6 fingers or melting into objects they were holding. And while it could handle simple actions like a person walking, it couldn't quite grasp complex interactions. If you asked for a person catching a ball, the ball might phase through their hands or morph weirdly upon impact. We accepted these quirks as the price of admission for cutting-edge tech. It was a tool with a specific limited use case, but within that box, it was magic. Content creators built entire workflows around VO2's strengths and weaknesses. They used it for abstract backgrounds, quick cuts, and non-narrative visuals. Tech enthusiasts loved pushing it to its limits, discovering a community around sharing the most hilarious AI fails and the most surprisingly beautiful successes. It was a powerful tool for ideation, allowing a director to quickly visualize a scene before committing resources to shooting it. You could generate a dozen variations of a shot in minutes, helping to refine your creative vision. VO2 was the dependable workhorse. It wasn't perfect, but it got the job done and showed us a real glimpse of the future. We all knew an update was coming, But our expectations were incremental. We figured VO3 would offer longer clip generation, maybe better consistency with objects, and perhaps a slight bump in resolution. The community was hoping for fewer weird artifacts and maybe some basic camera movement controls like dolly zoom or pan left. It was a tool that had established the foundation. It proved that AI video generation was a viable concept. We were ready for the next logical step. But what we got instead was a pole vault over 5 years of expected progress, landing us in a future we were not prepared for. Then came VO3, and it didn't just address VO2's weaknesses, it obliterated them. The headline feature was its contextual coherence. You could now generate clips up to a minute long, and a character's shirt would stay the same color. Objects remained solid and interacted with physics in a believable way. The 6 fingers hands were gone, replaced by hands that could realistically grip a steering wheel or type on a keyboard. This wasn't just a fix, it was a sign that the AI now had a much deeper, more persistent understanding of the world it was creating. It wasn't just generating frames, it was simulating a consistent reality. The user interface and control also took a massive leap forward. VO2 was mostly about the initial text prompt. With VO3, you got a suite of director tools. You could prompt a scene and then go in and tweak it. Controls for virtual camera lenses, aperture, and focal length became standard. You could say, change to an 85mm lens and rack focus from the flower in the foreground to the person in the background. This was a game changer. It transformed the user from someone just asking for a video into a virtual cinematographer, giving them granular control over the artistic and technical elements of the shot. Real-world applications exploded overnight. An independent game developer used VO3 to create all the cinematic cutscenes for their new title in a single week, a process that would have previously taken months and a dedicated animation team. A history teacher started generating historically accurate vignettes to students what ancient Rome might have actually looked like, creating a level of immersion impossible with static images. Marketing teams were creating entire high-concept commercials for a fraction of the cost, testing different versions with audiences before committing to a final creative direction. The tool democratized high-end video production on a scale we'd never seen. The biggest difference was in the storytelling. VO2 could show you an action, VO3 could convey an emotion. The prompt, "A lonely astronaut looks back at Earth," didn't just create the image, it infused it with a sense of melancholy and awe. The lighting would be softer, the astronauts' movement more deliberate, the reflection in their helmet showing a tiny precious blue marble. The AI had learned the subtext of visual storytelling. It was the difference between an AI that could follow instructions and one that could understand intent. Marking the moment AI video generation truly grew up. With the shock waves of VO3 still settling, the inevitable question arises, what's next? If we can leap this far in one generation, the path forward looks less like a straight line and more like a vertical ascent. The logical next step, what we might call VO4, will likely move beyond single isolated clips and into full scene generation. Imagine prompting not just a shot but an entire sequence with multiple camera angles, consistent characters, and coherent dialogue all edited together based on your script. You could write Scene A, tense coffee shop meeting. Start with a wide shot, cut to an over the shoulder of character A, then a close-up on character B as they deliver a key line. Beyond that, the future is about real-time interaction and integration. We can look forward to a future where these AI models are not just generating pre-demanded files, but are creating dynamic, interactive worlds in real time. Think of video games with non-player characters and environments that are generated on the fly, creating a unique experience for every single player. Or imagine a live video call where you can instantly change your background to a photorealistic, dynamic environment, like a bustling Parisian cafe with the AI rendering the entire scene perfectly around you. The line between the real and the generated will continue to blur in fascinating ways. The ultimate frontier is full integration with other AI modalities. What happens when a tool like Veo 4 is seamlessly connected to an advanced large language model? You could have a conversation with your AI film director, brainstorming ideas, refining the script, and seeing the results rendered instantly. Show me that last shot again, you might say, but make it feel more optimistic. Maybe add some lens flare and change the music to something more uplifting. This collaborative process will redefine what it means to be a creator, turning the solitary act of creation into a dynamic partnership between human imagination and artificial intelligence. Of course, this rapid progress brings huge challenges and ethical questions we need to address, from misinformation to the impact on creative professions. But one thing is certain, the pace of innovation is not slowing down. The journey from Veo 2 to Veo 3 taught us that our predictions for the future are often too conservative. We are living in a moment of exponential change, a thrilling and unpredictable adventure in technology. Whatever comes next, whether it's called Veo 4, 5 or something else entirely, it will continue to reshape our world, empower our creativity, and redefine the very nature of storytelling itself. Buckle up,